everyone. Welcome to Dr. Quack's House Calls. Today, we're going to be talking about first dates and blind dates. This is all going to be a part of a series when it comes to relationships and dating. So, here we go. So you have the first big thing here. You have to actually ask somebody out on a date. Or it might be the other way around. It might be where you have a friend who goes, hey, I know somebody that I think you should go out on a date with. There's two different ways on this. That first way, you've actually got to have the conversation. When you're talking to someone, it probably will be online. Sometimes the old-fashioned way, a lot of people would go out and meet people. Like you would meet people at like a singles bar. Or you would actually do some sort of dating where you would do a round robin and meet people sometimes. Or many other ways. But the big thing is, when you're doing that, you have to have confidence in yourself to ask someone out. It takes a lot for people. I mean, even when you're out in public, if you're at a local bar, you have to go up to a girl and say, hey, would you like to go on a date sometime? My suggestion is don't do that. Don't go to a local bar. It's usually not good. Now, there's sometimes it happens. The probability is pretty low that it's actually going to work out. But you never know. But if you are those people, try doing it without alcohol. You know, liquid courage, it can help you, but you want to do it without alcohol. You want to have the confidence yourself to be able to do it. But, you know, let's go into it. Let's go into all this because you're going to go out on this date, right? She said yes, or he said yes. There's a lot of things you have to do in before that date. You know, you have to do a lot of grooming. You may want to do this. You may want to dress nice when you're going out to a date. But you want to dress for the occasion because that's something that's really important. You have to look at. Where are you going to go on that date? Are you going to go out to a restaurant? Are you going to have that one-on-one conversation? That's a good way of doing it. I mean, the worst way, and a lot of people have said this to me, and it's kind of true, going to the movies on a first date when you don't know somebody. It's a big thing. I mean, you shouldn't do that because generally both of you will be paying attention to the movie. You won't have a lot of conversation. You won't get to know each other. You want to do something somewhat casual. You know, you don't want to do something that's going to be outside of your comfort zone. There's many things. You could even go bowling. Bowling, you actually can have conversations. I've seen people do that. I've done that a few times. You know, but you want to do something that you are going to feel like you're going to enjoy. Also, that's something that you want to talk with the person you're asking out. Are they going to feel comfortable with it? You know, they may not like bowling. You know, this is things that you'll learn, you know, at the beginning of the date. Grooming, you know, like I said, you might want to shave. If you got a goatee, you know, make sure that's trimmed up and nice. Comb your hair, you know, brush your teeth, throw on deodorant. Yes, believe me, I know I have to say this, and I really shouldn't have. But basic, common grooming. Okay? Clip your toenails, clip your fingernails, make sure you look nice. You know, if you have something like this on your hand, you know, or you've been working, make sure it's cleaned off. That's a lot of, you know, the beginning of the date there. Because let's say you're going bowling. You don't want to be in a suit going bowling. And honestly, unless you're going out to some big, you know, ball or something, you don't want to be in a three-piece suit. You don't want to be doing any of that. Dress shoes, you know, that you want to look nice. You don't want to wear y'all crazy out there on your first date because that may look a little weird. Now, you might be able to find somebody that works with that. You may not. You know, when you go out on that first date, when you're let's just say it's simple. Let's say you guys are going to dinner. You know, there's the big thing about initiation of conversation. You know, and you start that before, especially if you're doing it online. But now you're in person, so now you don't have time to think. Now you really got to just talk. And a lot of times there's certain things that, you know, you want to do. You want to have small talk. You know, you may want to, you know, listen. Listen is a big thing. Listen to the person you're dating or trying to go on a date with or on a date with. You want to listen to them. They're going to be telling things about themselves that is going to be really important to you to learn. You know, they may tell you about where they grew up, you know, what kind of things they're interested in, their hobbies, their dreams, a lot of stuff, a lot of conversation. Big thing is listen. Of course, you want to talk too. Everybody does. Everybody loves to talk about themselves, and that's okay. Just make sure it's like volleyball. You're going back and forth with the ball. That's what you want to do. You don't want to go out there and have it one-sided, because the other person may feel neglected, or even worse, not understood. And that's very important. You want to feel natural. I'm not saying if you're a guy who wears shirts like this all day long, and you burp and fart and all that stuff, you don't want to do that on a date. Have some manners. You want to, talk to the person, and you want to be presentable, because you are your own product. I've told this in a lot of different things that I've done in life. You are your own product. You're out there to sell yourself. Not being someone fake, but showing that person who you are. Another big thing I get asked about: who should pay for the first date? Paying for the first date is actually one of those things where you got to feel comfortable with what you're doing. And you generally want to be upfront at the beginning. Like, you might say to the person, hey, since we're first meeting, we should go Dutch, which means we pay for our own, right? We're meeting, we're talking, we're ordering our food. Now, granted, if you're the man and you pay for a woman's date, they're probably going to be happy. But these are things that you may need to look out for, okay? If you go out to an expensive restaurant, okay, and she orders, let's just say, a surf and turf, a big surf and turf, got the lobster, got the steak, got the baked potato, and she only eats about 3 bites and says she's full. That may be a telltale sign. There's a lot of things with that. Some people would say, okay, that's nerves. Maybe she doesn't eat like that. Some people would say she's wasting food. And, that all depends on the other person, because men have that tendency to be thrifty. I've learned this. Unless they want to spend, they don't spend. Most of them. This is all generalities, folks. That's something that you've really got to identify out there. That's why I always say go Dutch. Because, nerves are flying, emotions are flying, hormones are flying. And you may not eat a lot. You may drink, There's nothing wrong with having an alcoholic beverage on your first date. You can have a Coke or a Sprite or a soda, if you want to. All depends on what you're eating, the setting, and things like that. You're not going to walk into Waffle House and go drink a beer. That's not the way it goes. And if you're going to a date on a Waffle House, that's not the best thing to do, I think. You want to be a little bit more classier, because really that would treat it more like a friendship, I think, if you went to a Waffle House. That's my opinion. You may feel different. If you do, tell me in the comments. Another big thing here, when you're having conversation, don't show all your cards. Okay? You don't have to go into detail about every little thing in your life, your positives, your negatives. You want to keep your positives out there. That's an important thing. Remember, you're selling yourself when you're going on this date, so they see the good side of you. Yes, everybody's got their faults, and believe me, everybody's going to know it, But unless it's a major problem, that you can identify, that you feel like this person wouldn't be able to understand, I wouldn't bother bringing it up, especially on that first date. You want people to get to know you, and you want to get to know them. And another one, first dates. This is a big discussion I've had with friends, and some people will say, it's okay to go sleep with them on the first date. It's okay. And other ones will tell me it's not respectable. If she's going to do that on a first date with you, she'll do that with anybody, or he'll do that with anybody. The big thing there, I wouldn't. You would on a first date, you want that to end on a good note. Like I said, you don't want to show your cards. You don't want to, spoil it, because you want a second date if you do. And if you don't, be upfront about it. Be upfront. People's feelings may get hurt, but that happens. Not everybody is going to be compatible with everybody. If you're a guy, you may go out with one girl and you may not get along at all. You may go, no, this is no way, no shape, no how going to work. And You may go out with another girl, which everybody would say, what the hell are you doing dating that one? And it may, fireworks may spark off. You may have it there. You may see the boom, 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 hear the violin music, which is another thing. Another key factor, okay? First date, you haven't known each other long. Don't tell them I love you. Either one of you. Because that's how relationships end quick. You go too fast if you do that. I've done that, okay? And I know from experience it does not work, okay? Don't think with your hormones. Think with your head. This is something that I'm pointing out because young people tend to do this, I've noticed. They fall in love fast, and within 3 months, they're ghosting each other. It does happen. Now, here's one for you. This is something that I really want y'all to think about because I've had debates on this too. The after date text or call. Some people like to call. Most people, if they're under 30, they do not like to call. They like to text. When do you send that text after the date? When do you do it? Do you wait, a couple hours? Do you send it the next morning? Do you wait a couple days because you want to see if they're going to send it to you first? I will tell you, this is my general formality on this. You want to send it to them, either if you were on a date late night, let's say it was 10 o'clock and you left, you may want to wait until morning. You can send it that night. I wouldn't wait the 3 days. A lot of people are on that 3-day kick where, okay, you got to wait 72 hours. If you don't hear anything, then just move on. If you're feeling it, tell them. Express it. A lot of things that people do not do anymore is expressing how they feel. And they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of getting hurt. And you can't be afraid when you're talking about dating. You've got to put it out there like that. If you're interested in seeing them again, I would like to see you again. I had a great time. This was fun. I enjoyed spending time with you. Women love to hear that. Men love to hear that too, but women love to hear that. I mean, the biggest thing, communication. You have to have it. If you didn't have a good time, don't go out there and say, this was the worst date ever. God, you're a horrible person. Da 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 da. Don't do that. Okay? Because that's not cool. They took the time to meet you. Just be like, I think we should be friends maybe. This wasn't working out for me. You're cool, but this just isn't what I want. Be honest. Be direct. Yes, the other person may get mad. All these things, I'm telling you, person may get mad. But it's better to be honest and being true to yourself than it is to live a lie for 6, 7, 10 years. And then you're like, why the hell did I do this? And I'm talking about marriage, but that's later on. Another big thing, the final thing I really want to talk about on this is after that. After that first day, you're deciding that you want to stay with this one. You want to actually build a relationship. My opinion is give it at least 3 dates. Now, you may feel it. First date, you might be like, boom, you guys spent, the day together. You guys might have went out to eat during lunchtime, and then, you might have met up later in the night, might have met up for bowling, might have went out, paintball guns, all sorts of stuff. You might have done some physical activity with them. You might have went to work out. Believe me, people go work out together. That's considered a date. Kind of crazy. But the thing is, you want to give it some time before you actually commit and say, I'm in a relationship. You want to make sure that this is someone you want to see. There's nothing wrong with, going on a date with somebody and going on a date with someone else and going on a date with someone else. You're meeting people until you're committed. Now, when you're committed to that person, all them other people, they're gone. That's what you got to understand. And that's what I'm going to go into on my next episode. I'm going to talk about stage 2 of dating. The actual relationship, things you need to know, things that you need to understand. But until next time, I'm Dr. Quack, and thank you for tuning in to the House Calls.